I'm just glad you're here because you know what? I was just doing this on the fly because I thought, you know what I need to do is put together a couple of slideshow presentations and then just invite you in because I think this hit and miss stuff is really starting to get annoying.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's better just start it up and then send you an invite and see how it goes. So hello, everyone. This is Blab.Cafe. This is a place where you can talk about your business products and services. Today we have Zakia Ringgold joining me from Pennsylvania.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Now it's clear. If now
From
it
earlier.
clear from earlier. Oh, okay. Corinder. Oh, okay. Thank you, Corinder.
Oh, I
Cool.
have some of my Soap Nation coming on. John, you first site, he normally runs the bases. I shared it out on Facebook, Periscope, Twitter, YouTube. So Soap Nation is here, which is very
You
cool.
did that this quick because I just sent you the link.
Yeah, when you come on here on HAPS, it gives you a choice of which one of your platforms you would like to share it out to. And I connected all of them when I first
Wow.
joined HAPS. So it just allows it. So everybody, hi. I know I haven't seen you live in a little while, but good to see you.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. So this is really cool. So what I wanted to say is what I'm seeing right now from people in general. I mean, I got to say people in general is because they're so frustrated with the situation with COVID that they are, in some cases, they're kind of like letting it beat them down, you know?
Oh,
and
yeah.
and I think like this is one of the prime examples of what might be really important for people going forward in 2021 is to be kind of like self-sufficient. You're making a product that is consumable, which means you use soap over and over again. It washes away, it goes down your drain, and you have to replace it. It's a really amazing, you know, thing that you're doing. I mean, you're teaching people how to be self-sufficient and business, entrepreneurs. I think that's pretty admirable.
Thank you.
So I put up some of these different soaps that you've got going on just because I wanted to just use a little variety of pieces of
Because you're
soap.
fancy, Donald. You're fancy.
Yeah, but it's really, I mean, I wish more people would sit and really look at OBS and just try to figure out how it actually works. Because if you think of everything as like glass panels and you're just stacking them in front of each other, then you can do this. OBS
Yeah.
is actually really simple to use. Sound and
That's
video is good. Thank you.
So can I just say hi to all the folks because I haven't seen them in a while. So Perk Tudor was somebody I met on Periscope. Hi. I think it's the Real Kitchen Diva, the YouTube queen. She stumbled on, I don't know if you've ever saw me trying to make something in my kitchen. Although I have become the quarantine cook, if I could say so myself. I have started cooking all kinds of edible stuff in the kitchen.
I
Before it
thought
was
you
also
always cooked for your kids.
no, I was the fast food queen. If it was 5 miles to my house, I would order it for sure or takeout. And with COVID, I had to figure out how to make it myself because you can't sit down in a restaurant anymore. I
Yeah,
used to love hot pot, so yeah.
yeah. So what is your like favorite go-to quick meal now?
Well, I am all the kitchen gadgets, right? So I have an Instapot, I have a Ninja Foodie Grill, I have an Omni Plus. So all of these gadgets that you really don't need if you have a stove, right? You can do all of these things inside of an oven.
Yeah.
However, um, I think because I'm such a techie kind of person, it's the fact that I have those gadgets is encouraging enough for me to want to try and use them. And then the outcome just so happens to be a great meal that we can eat. But it's really the ability to use those tools. And that's
Yeah.
kind of the same story with the soap making. It wasn't really the soap making. It was leveraging live streaming and unlocking how these tools worked for building online businesses. Soap making just happened to be one of the things that came out of it, but it was really how in the world am I able to be in my dining room and press a button and ship my soap to you in Denmark, right? Because you got the triple butter blend. You were one of
Yeah.
my 17 countries.
Yeah, and you wouldn't believe this, but I still have a piece of it.
Oh, that's a long time. See, guys, the soap lasts forever and ever and
No,
ever.
it's basically because what I've done is I've sliced some thin slices and I put it into a Ziploc bag. What did we just miss out on? Oh, I see what happened. My monitor just went dark, and it was
Oh.
because, oh, I see what happened. It was just because it timed out. I don't know why, but have you ever had a monitor that will time out on you?
I've
The,
had that
the
happen on my
TV,
cell phone.
my TV itself has its own like energy saving system, and it will just shut off for no reason. Like it runs so many hours and then it'll just shut off
Hmm.
automatically. It's almost like this thing like, oh, well, nobody's watching the TV, so we're just going to shut off the power and save energy. It's
Okay.
built in. And I don't know how to change it on the stupid remote control because it's technology. I can't handle technology. No, I'm just kidding. So
Sometimes you can go overkill with the tech for sure.
yeah, these some of these gadgets are just crazy. Let's see. Oh, I was going to ask you though, for with all those tech little gadgets and stuff, though, do you think that at some point in time you're going to go back old school and start like sticking stuff in the oven and cooking it real slow? And because
No.
I can do a lot of stuff like really easy, like by just putting a lot of things into a big old pot and then sticking it in the oven, and I'll just leave it there
Mhm.
for a couple of hours. Like I cooked a big old huge beef roast the other day for like 3.5 hours,
Oh,
and it
yeah,
turned
no.
out amazing. It
With
turned
the
out.
Instant Pot, you can have every meal on the table within an hour. Why would
I
I go
know I
back
have a
to?
pressure cooker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I I can cook a chicken really quick, but I don't know.
well, today, I don't know, Donald, when you get a chance, take a look at my Facebook page because I've been testing out this whole fish and grits. Normally, I would do fried fish with grits. And so
Okay.
I've been sauteing my fish and I've been using croaker, porgy, and mountain trout. All week I would do a different fish where I go down to the fish market, they cut the head off, they split it in half, they scale it, and then I come home and I do various Chinese spices and vegetables. Today was the best one from staying with it day after day after day after day. Look on my
Uh-huh.
Facebook page because I posted it and I'm going to do it live now that I figured it out and got it down to a science. That's old
Oh,
school.
okay.
I do that on the stove, not in the oven though.
Yep. So yeah, that's exactly what I was doing when Randy and Richard was here, because I was basically going through the motions with doing this, and sharing the actual slideshow, because I figured, yeah, it's a good idea to practice once in a while. I hadn't used the slideshow feature for a while, so I figured, yeah, I'll go ahead and do it. All bases ran. You look good, and you sound good everywhere you are. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I
So
am a
that's Soap
black man.
Nation.
I am a black man. Much love and respect. Thank you, brother.
That is Mr. You for Sight John. And then there's also Anna. Drea is here. So I call that Soap Nation. I think that's one of the biggest lessons I learned from live streaming is it has nothing to do with you. It's about all of the people in your community. I feel like I
Yeah.
acted globally. Like my next door neighbor had no idea that I was making soap over here. But then I was able to travel all the way to Ghana and they knew that I made soap there and people in different states because of live streaming.
So they didn't hear anything or like smell anything and go, what is she cooking over there?
I'm sure they did, but probably just kinder hearts were like, I'm not going over there to figure it out. But yeah, but once I started live streaming on Facebook, then they were like, oh, that's what's going on.
Yeah. So, what is the deal with these books? I noticed that one of them is actually sold out on your website. I was thinking,
Yeah, so
how did it
so
sell out?
well, it sells out because they're print on demand, right? I don't have an
Oh,
endless supply of my
okay.
books. So I am the author of 4 books, the new Soap Makers Cookbook series.
Yep.
And the point of that is just a step-by-step guide for people to learn how to make and sell soap. Typical soap making books are typically about that thick. which
Yeah.
can be very frustrating. So I decided to create just the facts without the fluff. So as you can see, these
Yep.
books have all the information that you need to make your soap. You can't see it. The supplies, the ingredients, the recipes. This one is the third book in the series. This is the new vegan soap cookbook, and that's all plant-based recipes, but there's 4 in the series.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
Oh,
the other
Peter's
thing,
here from the HAPS team. Hey, Peter. Hey, Drea. You got to say hi to your people, Donald.
I'm
Or you
trying
try to.
to. I mean, it's really amazing because I'm getting like a little bit distracted because I'm looking at the stream and I'm trying to ask you decent questions and trying to balance everything. I'm getting older, you know.
Like, I can't do it all.
Yeah. No, okay. So, what is it that you want to say to all of your people? Because I'm sure that, you know, with this, the way things are going, that people that want to start their own businesses, what are the things that you have to do on a daily basis to keep your business rolling smooth?
Oh, number one, know that it's more than the product. The product actually becomes so far down the line. There's like the business systems, the customer service. It's also going to depend if you are doing a physical product, like a physical bar of soap versus a digital course or an ebook or something along those lines. But I would say now is the best time to start your own business, whether that be whatever that thing is that you love. I have sung this song, I think, for 5 years now, but there has been no better time than to venture out on your own. These systems, the fact that we're on HAPS right now and we are able to go live to a global audience, there is no middleman that stops
Yep.
you from being able to get your message out there or your product. It is straight to consumer or to another business. That was how I was able to pivot so easily to virtual event production. All of these tools are here. So it's just understanding what it is that you're trying to deliver and then putting the systems in place to be able to do that efficiently and productively.
Yep. Well, I really appreciate. I'm really glad that I found you when I did over there on Facebook and on yeah. I never was really a big user of Periscope, so that's one of the things. Like, I mean, I met a few people. I went ahead and opened an account on Periscope, but it's at one point in time when I was like going, yeah, there's a lot of stuff on there that I just didn't get interested in. You're one of the people that I did get interested in because your stuff is, you know, obviously it's more entertaining to sit watch you and your daughters play around in the soap kitchen.
Which is behind this curtain, by the way. And we should probably, there's some questions in the comments about what's HAPS. So you want to give people the lowdown on that?
Yeah, not really. You guys can all download HAPS and utilize it when you want. This is basically for presentations. If you're not a professional like me or Zakia, then you're not welcome to use it.
That is not true.
I'm just kidding. Take it easy. No, HAPS is basically a platform for people to do exactly what we're doing on it. We're basically chatting and talking to people about her business. And Blab.Cafe is, I basically set up Blab.Cafe on Blab when there was a Blab. And I set it up to do exactly this, to talk to people about their businesses. Yeah, what's behind the magic curtain?
Well, the purpose behind the reason why we even have this curtain is I had to once again pivot my dining room business. So on the other side of this curtain, you just saw that photo up there is the actual soap studio where I make the soap. But in March of 2020, when the world decided that we had to stop meeting in person, my background happens to be instructional design and building online experiences. And
Sorry about that.
so, oh, you can't see me. Can they still hear me if you take me off?
Yeah, they can still hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
I was just basically going full screen so they could see that whole screen, but I forgot that we just go ahead, continue.
So I pivoted in March and started producing virtual conferences for nonprofits, libraries, and small corporations who used to do in-person events or annual conferences for their memberships teams, but they had to stop. So I pivoted with all of the information that I learned in terms of building online communities because they didn't have a digital presence, most of them, and started producing their virtual conferences. But in order to meet with them, it became very distracting to have my soap studio behind me. And I'm telling them about how we're going to manage the attendee experience, how to get their sponsors on board. So we now have this black curtain. So when I'm in virtual event production mode, I am in front of the curtain. And if I ever get back into the soap studio, it's on the other side.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's a bit distracting because you know me. I mean, when we were doing a lot of the Blab stuff too, I was kind of like ignoring a lot of the comments. But you've got like a whole different following of people that you've built up over the years, and it's like they can come in and be really heavy on the channel. Thank God Periscope is shutting down. Well, I guess that's one of the.
I don't echo now. Maybe I don't echo that though. I am
On my
truly,
YouTube
truly
channel,
grateful for Periscope. Had it not been for Periscope, I wouldn't have known that I could have started my own business. I wouldn't have seen it. It wasn't something in my day to day. And so I'm truly grateful for Periscope. It did dwindle into nothingness over the years because they just completely stopped supporting it. But
yeah,
in its heyday, in the early days, it was a platform for you to learn pretty much everything. Like Clubhouse. I don't know if you're on Clubhouse, but that's a
no,
newer social media platform. So I'm grateful for it. I take them for what they're worth, and
yeah.
it allowed me to kind of meet new people.
Let's see. Isn't Clubhouse the isn't that like a audio only app?
It's audio only, but you are able to have conversations with like the Shark Damon from Shark Tank, Grant Cardone. They'll be in these rooms. Everybody's growing their list, and I never knew there were so many experts in the world. And I do have air quotes up there when I say that, but everybody is an expert on Clubhouse. However, it is a really good platform now because everybody is sharing all of their best of the best because they're trying to prove that they're the expert. So just like on the Periscope early days, you can really learn a lot right now. And then probably in about a month or two, all of that is going to be for $9.99 and 99 cents. You can take this course,
Oh,
or you can
okay.
pay to be there.
Well, I was noticing too that I know that books these days, because Amazon's such a mammoth of content that's actually sold in these paperback books. I was thinking that there's so much content out there that people buy. I've even bought books on certain topics, but the pricing seems like it's kind of low. I mean, for what you actually provide to people, I think the price is actually really low. It's really reasonable. I mean, if you applied it, then you could actually earn a living from what you've got in some of your books. Let's see. I want to read this comment. It says, Zakia, do you make male fragrance soap that is strong enough to clean a mechanic after a long day of work? Ooh, this sounds like kind of like, yeah, baby.
Hardworking person.
Yeah,
Yes, I have two.
when I'm all sweaty and I'm all hot and I'm all got grease all over my body.
We have
Being
jack of
silly.
all trades and classically cleaned Crazy Donald. My gosh.
But I think all the soaps are probably basically, you have certain things that are what you would call base ingredients, right? Like you have to have
Correct.
certain things for your base ingredients, and those are the things that are going to be. I mean, like I said before, I really like the what is it called, the oats.
I think you had triple butter blend and you had
Yeah, triple
crushed
butter
oats
blend.
blend.
That's amazing. Yeah, I used it to shave with. People always, what's that say? People always say, "Oh, we need to buy this and that," not necessarily. Or do you need is lighting or green blanket? Hand it up. Better lighting. Oh, that's from
Oh, he's
Corinder.
telling me how to improve my so it comes across better.
Yeah. Well, the thing is too is with green screen is you can set up a green screen with literally a piece of green cloth. It's, you go down to your fabric store, pay $10 for a piece of green fabric, and you're in business.
Hmm.
Let's see. I am a black man. Let's see. I would say he was. It's bittersweet, but when it was good, it was very good. Being silly. Oh no, you're not leaving the soap studio.
You don't
I don't
even.
know what that means.
I don't like the way you read comments. You
I'm
gotta
terrible
put
at it.
some
I'll let
emotion
you read.
behind it. Oh no, you're not leaving the soap studio. Yeah,
Okay,
or green
here
stuff
we
in
got
your house that you
Walmart
don't need.
philosophy: low margins but high volumes. Yeah, yeah. But
What do you mean?
that's a
The
problem
soap?
with. Isn't that a problem though with lots of these big chain stores? Is there's no real good quality products these days. It's like these products are just really light, and the ingredients probably are the cheapest thing that they can find. I think that's one of the
You're
reasons
pretty
why when
poor.
you told me the price of your soap, I was like going, "Whoa, that's a little more expensive than I was expecting to pay." But because then I realized that the actual time that you take to make something, like I said to my mom years ago when she was hand painting ceramics and stuff, I said, "Mom, you're not getting paid for this work. You're putting all this time into it, and you're just selling your stuff for peanuts compared to what you should be getting for it."
Yeah. We I was just
Yes.
on a I was on a discussion on Clubhouse actually, and it is an audio only app. And
Okay.
that was a conversation that came up, and people were asking, should they be making more all natural soap? Or should they spend the time doing all the fancy designs and swirls and twirls and put it on its head kind of thing? And for soap makers, especially when they're trying to scale, it's always best to keep it as simple as possible. I'm not saying that you need to skimp on the ingredients, but every minute that you are spending trying to make it really fancy, all of that impacts your productivity, which then turns around and impacts your final cost of goods sold. And then if your customers really, really, really like that product, you need to be able to continue to recreate that thing. So that was something I learned very early on, and um, I started doing icon collections. I didn't know at the time that that was why I was doing it, but it actually worked out well. It gave me an opportunity because typically, as an artist or a soap maker, you got into it because you wanted to express your creativity and do all that fancy stuff. But the icon collection was a once in a while, once a quarter. There were just 5 bars where I just got to go ham and do whatever I wanted. And those were some of my most popular bars. But natural sells best for me. Simple sells best for me.
Right.
Simple is always a good thing. Yep.
I have a question. So if I want to basically, I think I mentioned it to you before. It was the lip balm.
Mm-hmm.
If I wanted to produce something and say, for example, it got really mad popular because of my ingredients or my idea for the ingredients, and somebody thought, "Oh, this is great," and they started passing around, and all of a sudden I start selling it in a big volume. Would you continue to make it yourself, or would you just go ahead and farm it out to Vietnam or somewhere?
I don't know where I would farm it out. And that was always my fear with Natural Soap by Zakia, that it would get too big, right?
Yeah.
There are certain benefits of being able to make a product in your home. Your overhead is low. You can control from end to end. So you would probably look for a co-packer, somebody who is able to kind of white label it for you, where you provide them the recipe and they do it in bulk for you. I don't know
Yeah.
if you're still able to call it handmade at that point, because they typically would just be throwing it all into something
Yeah.
there.
I don't think that I would start out calling it handmade. I would basically
Okay.
just say, like, because I remember there was something that I really used to like to use when I was a kid, and it was called Burt Bees or
Right.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
and I liked the smell of it, and I liked the actual, like, the chapstick was like really good. I liked the smell of it, and I liked the taste of it almost, because it's like, this is tasting good, it smells good. But then there's other things too like that. When I was thinking, yeah, but what happens when you have to go in big production? And I was actually kind of concerned about that if I was going to, go down that path, because I always thought that some of my ideas for the actual lip balms could be using natural products, obviously, but at the same time, I want them to have specific, what's the word for it? What do they call it when you have a certain, like when you're drinking a glass of wine, it has a certain bouquet, a certain smell, and a certain, like, there's certain things in there you just barely pick up on them, and you go, oh yeah, and I recognize it. So that's why I wanted to use sage is one of my bases for that, and then something like lemongrass, because I like those. I like the smell of that. And I don't even know if you could use certain things like pine. I always thought it would be great to have something like that with pine, because I like the smell of pine. I walked by a tree today, and it's like an unbelievable strong odor of pine comes from this tree. It's like really like hits you in the face as you're walking down the sidewalk next to the tree, and you just go, oh, that smells great. I would like to have that in some kind of a, even if it was like facial soap or something where I was, shaving with it or whatever. Yeah. That would be cool. So here we got, let's see, we got a message from 9 to 1. At 9, I will be live. Oh, you're going to be live, huh?
Yeah, Corinder asked, when's the next, people want to follow, when am I going to be live again? So I said 9. I was going to collaborate with Sound Bath Mom. She's here on Haps as well. She does the sound bowls. So it's going to be a meditative broadcast where people are able to watch and listen to her sound bath as I am making the soap. And that'll be happening tonight at 9 Eastern time.
Okay, cool. Sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, the fragrance, that bouquet. Oh, lemongrass, yeah. Lemongrass is something I just love the smell of it. Or even, like even lemon peel, like the citrusy smell of lemon peel.
Yeah. That was one of the hardest things as a new soap maker, because people's like you said, pine, right? And there's always like when I went to virtual or in-person craft shows or vending events, 9 times out of 10, somebody would say, do you have bacon soap? Like just something so random. And it's like, no. And then you as a soap maker are trying to determine, do I need to add that to my lineup now? Am I now buying a whole new fragrance? And then you also have people that would come on a broadcast, hey, can you make a cranberry vanilla bacon soap? And you're like, sure. And then they never come back and buy it, but you've spent the money because you have to go and get that particular fragrance to scent the soap or the lotion or the shower jet, whatever you're making. So that's always the toughest part, trying to figure out.
But isn't that like one of the things, like where you would take, say, for example, if I wanted to do what I was going to do, I think I kind of like think that I would go out and make the different ingredients and the little conglomeration of all these ingredients, and then do some test batches, and then just take it out and test it with the actual public and say, hey, which one of these do you like better? This one, number A, B, or C, and then just go from there. Because like I said, I the first time I ever remember opening one of those little tubes of Burt's Bees lip balm, I was like going, oh, this smells great. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I think I'm going to go ahead and keep on using this. Or even what is it? There's the other one that's their, it's almost like Burt's Bees aftershave. It's just their basic, and I don't even know what their smell is supposed to be. Like those hippies, they wear certain things. It's like, oh man, this person smells really good, but you don't know what they're wearing. It could be some kind of weird herb or something. Oh yeah, this is some kind of, I don't know. There's just frankincense. I like the smell of frankincense, and I didn't know I did until I smelled it. And I was like, oh, that's what that is. That's what that smells like. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. This is Blab.Cafe. If you want to get on here and talk to me about your business products and or services, you're welcome to. To do a basic slideshow for you, I'm going to have to charge you about $5,000 or $6,000.
I got a discount. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, but you've been an old friend, so it's really free. No, but I think that for most people that they don't know, yeah, I can do a slideshow. You just want to send me some images, and I'll put together a slideshow, and I'll interview you. But if you want to go without the slideshow and you just want to jump on and talk to me about your business products and services, you're welcome to. Zakia's been a friend of mine for a long time, and we've known each other since Blab. Yeah, since Blab. So yeah, that was
At
cool.
least 5 years then.
Yeah, isn't that weird? It just seems like time just flies by. Thank you, for Zakia, for being so great. That's
Oh,
from Shannon Griffin.
thanks,
Oh, hi,
Shannon.
Shannon. I haven't seen you for a while. Patchouli. Yeah, that's it. Patchouli oil. That's like one of my favorite hippie scents. You know, it's
Mm.
like when you see them walking down the thing, and just like you want to walk up close to them because you want to smell the patchouli oil. It's like, oh yeah, you smell great, man.
Yeah, that's the other. Patchouli is one of those people either love it or hate it. I am in the hate it crowd. I can't make a soap with patchouli because I can't even fake it to tell somebody. Because when I'm on broadcast, I have to describe it and say,
Yeah.
"Oh, this smells like," and in my head, I'm thinking
You
death.
can't describe it. It's a weird, yeah, it's a weird smell, isn't it?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so if there anything else you want to talk about, you know, like I said before, I think that Zakia is probably one of the best entrepreneurs that I know of that is basically doing something that is, what's the word for it? It's something that is constantly, you have to be constantly thinking about, well, you do, new products, books, teaching, all of these different topics that keep coming up in your line of work. It's pretty amazing that you're completely, constantly evolving, you know, with your business. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see those evolutions. But I think though too is that because soap is something that you have to constantly replace, it's a really good business model. You know, it's probably one of the best business models because people don't want to go around smelling bad and being dirty.
Well,
So
the pandemic helped business incredibly because on every other ad or commercial was wash your hands, right? So
yeah,
you have to use soap and water to wash your hands. If you are somebody who are bathing with just water, it does not work. The way that soap works, and I know some people are going to go away now, but the way that soap works is it has a hydrophobic and then a water loving end. So there's a water hating end and a water loving end. And
right.
because of those two ends, when you apply the soap with the water, that water loving end is what's able to wash the dirt away, whereas that water hating end is able to surround the oil or the dirt on your skin. And so if you have like a teenage son, and I hate to be beating up on boys, but they're typically the ones that'll jump in the shower, just get wet. I have 3 brothers, so I know this to be true because it happened in my house. And they just jump in the water because they got wet. That dirt is still on them. But the reason soap is so effective is because of those two properties of it. So
Right.
when Corona hit, I was in the best of both worlds. Not only was I
Yeah.
selling soap, but the people that I was teaching were able to get income when they normally would not have gotten income. And then I also was able to pivot into the virtual event planning. So I think what I would leave everyone with is we all had, and I say this on all of my broadcasts. So if you've been with me for a while, this is probably like, yeah, we know. But we all have unique skills, gifts, and talents. We have worked in different jobs throughout our careers. We are really good at either customer service or pulling things together or building community. Figure out how you can package that up and keep moving for what you see is next. And another thing I would say is you do not have to share your vision with everyone because sometimes they can't see it. And then that may be something that discourages you, right? So just
Yeah.
work towards it without having to get the approval or the validation from someone else and leverage the tools that are out here. Seriously, there are so many tools from live streaming to being able to self publish your own book
Right.
Getting your own EIN number. Make sure you do the things. A lot of people couldn't take advantage of a lot of the funding that came from the government with this COVID relief because they were kind of sort of working as a business, but not really a business. But make sure you have all of your ducks in a row, especially in the United States, in terms of having your EIN number, filing your taxes with the state. Sometimes it looks good to be able to say, yeah, we weren't profitable, so you're not paying taxes. But then when you went to go and file with COVID this year, particularly, when you went to go and file, they wanted to see your tax numbers. Like, okay, so how much did you pay in taxes to be able to show how did you really suffer a loss from COVID? And if you couldn't prove that, you were completely out of the game with it. So I would say the biggest thing is to trust your own vision. Don't wait for anybody to validate that it's true. People looked at me and said, why in the world would you be teaching what it is that you do? I never wanted to be a millionaire from soap making. I never even saw myself making money from the soap making. That was not the goal. It was to be able to give the skill to somebody else. So if you are able to teach someone, online courses are definitely a way to go. Writing it in a book. If you don't like to write, definitely speak it. You can do a podcast. You can do an audio book.
I can speak to that. What's really cool is I'm pretty sure you know about it, but there's software called Descript, which is amazing. You could take like this broadcast, for example, and what Descript does is it actually grabs all of the audio and it it transcribes it for you, and it comes all in text. But if you see something in there that just looks really stupid or something, you can cut out the whole sentence and just type in the sentence the way you want it to sound. And it will audio, what's the word for it? AI. It's got AI built into it, so it will automate your voice, or it will grab your voice and redo that particular sentence. So if you really flubbed up and you said sentence that just doesn't make any sense, you can go in there and edit the text, and it will speak for you.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing? And it's called Descript. It's really cool. But the cool thing about that, what I was getting at, is it takes all of the text from your videos and it transcribes them. And then a lot of people have been making books. They've been making ebooks from the transcriptions of their videos. That's basically where I was going.
I've been looking for something to do for the month of February, and I think we're going to do a live book with Descript because there's so much I want to share from the lessons learned last year. And I wanted it to be where people are building their online businesses with me live. So for 1 week, we would be going over the online stores. The next week, we would be going over building a PDF book or publishing your book on Amazon in a week. So depending on what people want to do digitally. But if we are able to do that and capture it with Descript, that's a whole different product that can be repurposed another way.
Yeah. Let's see. There's a question here. Somebody asked before was, do you make any kind of soap for dogs or tea and flick dope? Tick and flea soap.
So there's always a very long answer. The short answer is no, I don't make it. The second answer is with dogs or even with humans, soap makers are in a very precarious situation because of the FDA. There are certain things that we are allowed to say that our soap does and other things that we are not allowed. And because it would be specifically for fleas and ticks, we would have to have some kind of approval for that. Then you open yourself up for all kinds of investigations. So I always stay away from making any kind of product claims. The key with soap making, and I talk about this in all of my books, the number one key in soap making is understanding what every single one of those ingredients offers to the final bar. So I would need to look at what is causing or what fleas and ticks don't like. And then you also have to be careful because then you would probably want to use an essential oil, and you have to be careful with the various essential oils with pets. So you don't want to get into any of that. So the short answer is no. The longer answer is everything I just said.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, this is just from my own experience. I think that the stuff that's commercially available right now is pretty amazing. I went to a a dog food pet store that's got all these different, products. And I had a problem with the breakout on tray, and they had something that was like over the counter shampoo, and it just wiped out the whole population, the bugs that he had on them. This stuff is great stuff. And so, yeah, for you to sit there and come up with something that's even close comparable is really, really tough. And like you said, all of the regulations, that would be a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
And you have to be careful with it being natural. Oh, yeah, yeah. Natural soaps. Yeah, and there's another thing, too, is I went online and I found some natural things. Like I didn't even know this, but you can pour a little bit of vinegar into a dog's water dish, and that helped for some reason. The vinegar helps to reject fleas or repel fleas naturally. So it's like a natural repellent.
I don't know. Donald, be careful with what you find on Google. See if it was medically researched or somebody's, like my daughter comes to me, Paige has fleas from TikTok. So be cautious
my dog died because of what Dawn said. I fed my
gave him some vinegar water.
Vinegar, and he died.
I don't know about that.
No, I don't care. I mean, you got to do your own research. I do believe that you do have to have your own research that you have to go through. Let's see.
Beautiful lady, 1 second, from
finally caught you live.
Yes, I wanted to say hi to her. We kind of like tag team on each other's video, because you know how YouTube, it's really not meant for live streams. It's really for pre-recorded, which is why I struggle so much on that platform. But I want to say, I'm not sure if you're still here. I love all of your videos, but hello.
I love your bright colors. That's her name. That's her
username on YouTube.
Okay. What is Donald's brand name on Haps? Oh, I just go under my real name, Donald Brandt, and I use Blab.Cafe was something I basically came up with when I was using the platform called Blab. So, yeah, it looks like we're frozen now.
No, we're good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, now it's moving again. Oh, for some reason it just stopped for a second. Okay, that's cool.
You said, is there something else I would say to people earlier? And I would say use these platforms, social media. I know before we never understood the power of it, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. We have got to use these platforms. They're here, and it's a way for you to expand your reach. My products shipped to 17 countries. I was able to travel to China and Ghana from clicking a button on my cell phone in my dining room. So I think everybody, if you have any kind of product, and show up as yourself authentically, you don't have to fit into a box. Coming from corporate America, where it's always like you have to do it this way or you got to do it that way, stay in your lane. There is no supposed to be when you're running in your own lane. So I say do that.
Let's see. You did some edits to your face. Laugh out loud. Yeah. The funny thing about using green screen is there are some fine tuning adjustments that you can do with it, and it's basically sometimes it'll go in and out depending on CPU usage and all that other stuff. But it's kind of fun to play around with. I enjoy playing around with green screen. So because I can do a presentation and show Zakia's stuff like behind me while we're talking, so that's cool. And there's always the practice that comes in with everything, because like, for example, if I wanted to, what I should do is just move this a little bit further over and then do a transition, and you should see that now. See that transition? So that's actually right behind my head. But it all comes with also, like when you're laying out this platform, and I was gonna like do an intro, I ran all of this stuff on the screen by itself. So I was doing the slideshow with nothing else going until you jumped in, and then we jumped on screen. So it was full screen, and it was there by itself before we ever jumped on.
Are those the products that are on my site now? Because I'm seeing several that are completely sold out.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
That's cool, because are people going to be able to order those from like the next batches that are be made, or what?
Well, I've stopped my pre-orders because I was not sure when
Oh.
I was the new business.
You're
Listen,
going to have to hire some people. That's all there is to it, Zakia.
it's definitely time. The virtual experience programming that I'm doing, I am booked out for that through August of this year. And
Okay.
so I'm getting processes and procedures down so that I can train people to do that so I can get back to the soap making. I say
Okay.
that to say, I have students that have taken classes in live soap school where I am farming a lot of repeat customers who have come to me in the past to go to them to get their soap, but I probably won't be able to make soap again until February at the earliest. And that'll be like the end of February going into March.
Okay. All right.
But the
That's
books will be available. Books I can always send you if you want to make your own. And then
yeah.
I'm also willing to do wholesale in terms of people buying loaves at a time, but not the individual bars at this point.
But how practical is it for you to start hiring people in your neighborhood to start actually, maybe helping to boost your production capabilities?
Oh, we have
I know that
definitely.
with
It
all
has.
these different insurance claims, all the, what do they call it? Cal OSHA and all these other different types of, you know, regulations you have to follow. It can be very costly and a big pain in the butt. But at the same time, I mean, what's to stop you from, say, for example, hiring people as subcontractors? So that way they have to insure themselves. They have to, set up their garage or whatever to help you out. And they could maybe, follow your recipes and stuff to the T. And you just basically go over there and say, okay, well, you're doing everything right, but this is where you're getting it wrong. And then they could actually be producing stuff for you as a subcontractor. And you're basically, giving them a little piece of the pie, and you're still being able to solve the customer issue.
That
I
was the
don't know. That
plan
was just an idea.
behind Live Soap School. I just never was able to get the wheels under that in terms the people that I teach. So there was supposed to be somebody in the West Coast region, in the Northeast and the South, but you're talking about locally in my community to
Yeah.
be able to support Natural
Yeah.
Soap by Zakia. That one, with COVID being so rampant, the plan has always been at some point to have just a production facility, not necessarily a retail shop where people can come in. I have no interest
Right.
in a storefront. However, I am nervous about the liability of someone getting sick in a place like that. So what you just mentioned was potentially just subcontracting where they are at their own house. They follow a specific regimen and do a particular thing. I don't know how I would be able to manage the quality control of that. That's the biggest aspect of it, making sure you're not cutting corners. Like if I tell you that we need these 5 ingredients and you say, oh, well, coconut oil is less expensive than the shea butter, I'm going to up the coconut oil. That all
And
makes an impact.
shea butter.
What goes in the pot literally comes out in the wash with this. And
Right.
so that's the only thing I'm worried about with that.
Yeah, they're good. Well, we could put some more sawdust in there. What?
I gotta
You
make
can't
you
use
gotta fill it
sawdust.
up. We need 5 pounds. Like, no, God. And your
It's
name's
very
on it.
abrasive. It's very abrasive. It feels good on your skin.
We wanted an exfoliating bar.
Yeah, exfoliating. Oh, this is fun. Okay, so anyways, that sounds great. I think you're just doing amazing. I just think that there's a really tough time for entrepreneurs these days because of all these different situations that people are faced with. But I think that if somebody wanted to learn how to make soap, I think you're the perfect person to teach them. Regardless if it's videos or the books or whatever, or a combination of both. I think it's pretty cool for you to be out there doing that. Shannon said no facial hair. Yeah, I shaved my goatee some time ago. I got rid of that. It was too itchy.
Yeah. And I would also say it also depends on individuals' outlook. At the start of this, I just knew I had hope and optimism that my business was going to grow. And I'm not saying that hope is a strategy, but for all of those people who say how difficult and how trying and how impossible business is, they're getting exactly that back, right? For a
Right.
lot of entrepreneurs who saw this as a way to pivot and a way to double down on some things that were working or to pick up new skills in the digital realm, I think they have seen tremendous growth in their business, and not necessarily just with revenue, but in terms of brand exposure, the reach. Revenue is important, but I think depending on how we look at what happened over the past 10 months, 11 year, we can say the last year,
Yeah.
is how we're going to get the results that we're after. Because at the very beginning, and I have that video, I did a live stream and I said, use this as an opportunity to do everything that you ever wanted to do with nobody telling you it had to be a certain
Oh,
way.
because just the sheer number of people that are going to be spending time at home without much else to do but to think and to maybe build a business or
Yeah.
go, yeah, open up a Shopify store or something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
got print
agree.
on demand available. You got like everybody can use Printful if you want to just have your own T-shirt business. You
Right.
can start blogging. You whatever that everything that we always said. Oh, I wish I had more time. One thing
Yeah.
we were all
No
given
excuse
time,
now.
right? So
Yeah. Absolutely no excuse now not to be having time enough to do everything. Let's see. I'm going to just take this one and show this right here. This is another one of my streams. I don't call it a stream. I call it a actual, what do you call these things? Slideshows. So one of the things I want to say too about for people who want to come on and talk about their business products and services is that, you know, you might not have the same level of professional, you know, professionality that Zakia does, but that's because she's been doing this for a long time. She has just the right mindset for it. And she has two little helper bees. Where are your daughters today? You said one was doing a mock trial?
yeah, I was so proud of her. She was a defense attorney for mock trial. She actually won for her client, but it was on Zoom. I was going to post it. Look in my stories later because, of course, I was that mom
Okay.
recording her as she was doing the cross examination and opening arguments. I was so proud. She's in 11th grade. And then
Okay,
Paige
cool.
keeps on trying to sneak on over here, but I keep on. I don't know how many of the moms out there, especially if you work and you're on Zoom, but there is, like, you see how there's only a certain part of my body you can see. So there is something that happens. You can kind of hear the snapping that happens when she knows that I'm on a video where you all can't see it, but I'll do like all different kinds of things where she knows, okay, not at this moment. Can I come on? But yeah.
I have the same thing happen with Trey sometimes. Like he starts licking my toe or something. I'm going, hey, wait a minute. He has to go outside because that's his signal. He goes like, hey, I got to go outside, man. I got to go outside.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Now you have time. Did you ever did you never thought you'd have to work on the dream, but you always wanted?
Donald, you have to read between the lines. It says now
I'm not reading it right. Why am I just? I don't know why. I just hesitated. I'm not seeing, like, it's like when you read something too and you don't see you know, the
You're
right.
looking for punctuation and all that.
Yeah, I'm looking for punctuation.
It's basically saying now you have time for all the things that you used to put off. How did you use it? Can I come over traffic?
You reworded the whole thing. Can I come over traffic signals to make sure they know you're on air?
Well, I'll be back on air probably in about 2 hours. I got to do mommy stuff after this broadcast, like make sure everybody's fed, make sure I know what we're eating for dinner, get ready for the work/school week, all that stuff. But then I will be back live.
I'm telling you, you just need a guy around that knows how to cook like me.
Donald, you stay right where you are in Denmark.
Yeah, all right.
And I'm sure my Instant Pot can do it much faster. 1 hour maximum.
My cooking's all full of love. That's my Paige. I love her. Little Life of the Shining Star. Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Yeah, hashtag where's Paige? She has her own hashtag.
Yeah, no kidding. So didn't she build a channel too? Or are you working on that with her?
Yeah, we did, but mom, she's trying to do her own TikTok. She did a
Oh,
whole
TikTok channels
Paige,
are
let me see
crazy.
your video. She did a whole video on. She recorded it on an iPhone. And it was her doing an unboxing. It was pretty cool. We're probably going to load it to her YouTube channel and probably to her Instagram channel.
Okay.
And I will be making soap live in a few hours at 9 p.m. Eastern is when the soap making broadcast will be.
Okay. Will you be making soap live in a few minutes or a few hours?
Yeah,
Are you going
9
to be doing
o'clock.
live soap making?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. There's Yassine. St. Petersburg. That's in Russia, right? No, it's in Florida, dummy. Oh my God. Paige
Yeah,
on
on
TikTok.
TikTok.
Paige on TikTok. Yeah, no kidding. She's gonna light up the screen.
Paige has been in front of the camera since 2015. Remember, guys, she's been live streaming next to me.
I remember when you barely saw her head below your workbench there, and I was like going, "Whoa, who's that little munchkin?" She's like coming up, going, "Hey, mom, hey, mom, hey, mom."
So they can see how she's so much bigger now. I'm sitting. Say hey, everybody.
Hey.
You remember me, Paige, don't you?
No.
Nothing.
No clue.
Well, you got to go back and look at some of the old videos.
Huh?
I'll see you on TikTok.
I'm gonna get another subscriber on TikTok.
Yay!
All right.
Let's see. Okay, yes.
Oh, there you go.
So, yeah, I just wanted to say a couple things before we wrap it up here. I just want to say thank you to Zakia Ringgold. You are in what state?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. You can find all of her stuff at what website?
If you are looking for handmade natural soap, that is at naturalsoapbyzakia.com. If you are looking to figure out how you can start your own soap business or get recipes or what it takes to build a soap making business from home, that is at livesoapschool.com. And if you need help with planning a virtual event, I am available at virtualexpdesign.com.
So can you elaborate on that a little bit? Because that's something that for me, it's kind of new to hear about. I know that events are events, but for some people that don't know what events include, can you kind of just like give a rough outline of what that is?
Sure. So I help organizations that typically would have annual membership events produce virtual events. And that's everything from the ticketing platform, being able to take free tickets, paid tickets, help them plan out the sponsorship benefits, as well as the attendee experience, and then the actual day of live production so that their speakers feel like they're supported. It's not just having them turn on a camera. We also do virtual networking spaces. So people feel like they're coming into a platform and not sitting behind a Zoom room. We also do all of the planning for their virtual engagement. So that works really well for companies who are doing wellness events virtually, aside from your normal painting or wine tasting. We do a whole lot more in terms of scavenger hunts. We also do virtual soap making, of course. And there's so many other programs, but I work with event organizers who are typically tasked with doing these things in person, and I help them to do it virtually. And I do the complete end-to-end management and production of those events.
Wow. It's pretty amazing.
It's always been hashtag more than soap, and that's just one more layer that we added to that last year.
Do you have help with that particular part of it? I mean,
I do. I have subcontracted out for several of those elements.
Yeah, because I would think it's like you're being like this virtual concierge. It's just like doing all these different things for people, or virtual assistant. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Okay, well, that's about it. Like I said, everybody, this is Blab.Cafe. This is a place where you can talk about your business products and or services right here on HAPS. And we're going to wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for joining and for commenting and subscribing. And make sure you go over to Zakia's channel as well. You have a channel here on apps too, right? Okay, cool. So you go over there and subscribe to her channel as well. But it's really cool here because you can actually click the little button on a person's icon and subscribe to them just like that.
Yeah.
So anyways, thanks everybody for joining, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Donald.
Thank you.